battle right now, challenges, pain, struggle, obstacles right now, find the lesson in it that can elevate you, that can take you to another level. Self-doubt has always been something that I've dealt with, but I want to talk about a couple other things as well. Self-doubt is still something I deal with to this day. I just spoke about a week ago in front of 400 people, and self-doubt hits me differently today than it used to. I don't have a doubt that I can just crush it when I'm on stage. I don't have a doubt that I can deliver content that not just like is tickles the ears. Like, that's not what I want to do. I don't just want to say flowery things that people go, oh, that's nice. Like, oh, wow, he's a good speaker. Like, the self-doubt I experience now is I put a massive amount of pressure on myself to deliver something unique, powerful, authoritative when I speak. Every single time I speak, I want to make sure that you leave with something deposited on the inside of you. And so where I experience self-doubt now isn't based off of other people's opinions of me. It's based off of, am I capable of delivering something that can transform somebody's life, right? And even though I say it's just out of other people's words to me, it was amazing how many people walked up to me afterwards and said, my gosh, like, what you said really hit me. Like, I've never, like, all these different things. And it's just amazing how you can hear people say that. And you can hear people confirm you and confirm your skill and confirm your capacity and your ability and the words you speak and all that kind of stuff, yet you still doubt yourself. It's crazy. And so, I was listening to a guy that I've been studying quite a bit. His name's Ed Milet. I would encourage you guys to dig into his podcast. It's amazing. But this is a guy whose net worth is $400 million. He's got no debt. And I don't work with him. I'm not affiliated with him in any way, but I love his content. And he talks about how he still struggles with self-doubt. And it's insane to me because, like, you can look at a guy like that who has everything you could ever want, ever desire, all the success, the influence. He's close friends with some of the most successful people in the world, and he still experiences self-doubt. And it's just amazing that even if he struggles with that, like, shoot, man, well, I'm probably never going to get away from it, but you just struggle with it at higher and higher and higher levels. But that's all part of success, right? Is getting to the next level in life is the ability to handle the load and handle the pressure and handle the capacity at this level. And then you can get to the next level. But even at the next level, there's new pressures, there's new capacity, there's a new struggle that you have to take ground and take territory on. And so I don't think I'm ever going to get away from self-doubt. I think I'm always going to battle it, but just at different levels. And I think the same is true for you. I think that maybe you don't deal with self-doubt, but you deal with something else. And I think that we're going to face the same demons our entire life, just at different levels. And so it's important to surround yourself with people who can strengthen your resolve, who can strengthen and develop the content of your character, and get around you and not just hold you accountable to continue moving, but to actually help you improve and help you grow and help you develop. And so that's why I absolutely love the community that I'm a part of. Is it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's not just business and nuts and bolts and crap like that. It's real love. It's developing spiritual strength and physical strength and mental and emotional and financial and time strength and social strength. It's developing an entire person, not just one category of life. So self-doubt's been something I've always battled with. What's up, guys? Everybody hopping on here. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Show me some love. This isn't easy for me to talk about. Oh, I love talking about my strengths. I love talking about the things that I'm good at, but it's not easy to talk about the things that you're not good at. But another one, and this might be even bigger than the first one that I, have experienced and dealt with for so long, is in certain aspects of my life, a poverty mentality. Growing up around, number one, you have to look at like poverty. There's a habitual cycle that surrounds poverty, right? It's quitting, it's giving up, it's self-doubt, it's all these different things are habitual cycles that surround a poverty mentality, right? Champions and winners and people who experience high levels of victory, they're not quitters. They don't allow self-doubt to consume them. They don't allow all of these bad habits to consume them. They might face them, but they overcome them, right? And so I grew up, there's a few different things that have, it's amazing how our childhood really affects our future. And yeah, Brittany, exactly. And so, with me, I just remember when my family, we never had a lot. We had enough. We always got by. But I remember in 2009, it's one of the hardest times of my family's life. When the economy collapsed, and my dad, who is, one of my heroes, I love him so much. I just remember when the economy collapsed and my dad's carpentry business that he ran for 29 years, he had to close the doors on it. And it was something that he worked for 29 years. I'm not even quite 29 yet, and I can't imagine working and building something that long and having it, fall out from under you. So that was hard to watch. And it's hard to look back on now. And we ended up losing our business and our home and our cars, and we lost it all. And it was a hard time to go through. But man, the lessons, the experiences that are the hardest always forge you into a stronger person. And, I think watching that happen, watching one of my heroes lose everything, I think it planted a seed of poverty in my mind that, man, if that could happen to him, it could definitely happen to me. And it made me start to settle in my life. It made me start to settle for less. And, there's no doubt that seed choked other dreams in my life. And, I ended up going to college. And I remember when I was in college, I was just sitting in a business class, and I just realized, I've always had this duality, this battle going inside of me. It was my dreams that have always driven me, and my goals and my ambitions. And I've always believed that I was created to do mighty things. But I've also battled this, this seed of this, spirit of doubt and poverty and stuff like that in my mind. And I remember being in college, and I was running in a network marketing business at that time, and I just had this realization moment where all the people that I was learning from were totally broke, didn't know anything about financial education, never run a business, and so I just was like, dude, why the heck am I paying a lot of money to be here to learn from people who are totally financially stagnant and don't know anything about running a business? And so I dropped out of college, which was a great decision, but again, feeding out of that cycle of habitual quitting, quitting things and stuff like that. And so I ended up running this business, and that business failed. That business ended up collapsing, and I felt like a failure. I felt like I let everybody around me down. I let my team down. I let my family down. I let people around me down. All of my haters came crawling out of the woodwork. I told you it wasn't going to work. I told you this. I told you that. You're an idiot. You're this. You're that. And, dealing with all of that at the same time, that was within 90 days of that. My parents, that's when we lost everything. My girlfriend at the time broke up with me over a phone call. Wouldn't even tell me in person. And I faced a deep depression after all that happened. I faced a very deep depression. I remember having, really bad thoughts. I'll just leave it at that. And it was the call on my life. I didn't have a relationship with Jesus at the time, but I just remember feeling like, man, if I ended it, who would I affect? Who in my life would I affect? What kind of hell would I put those people through? Who in my future would I be robbing? Me not being around, what is it that I was created to do? And by me taking myself selfishly out of this life, what people in my potential future would I be robbing from their destiny, right? Because I believe that, Grant Cardone said that strangers hold your future in the palm of their hands. And who is it that's watching this video right now that had I done something totally stupid and totally emotional, would who that watches this would be robbed of something that I could deposit on the inside of you in my future, right? And so it was the call of my destiny. It was the call of my future that, and a couple really good friends that cared for me and helped me out of this depression, that, called me into the future. And I kept going, and was able to come out of it again stronger than ever. I think these really hard times that we go through in our life, they forge our character. They forge us into stronger individuals. And, I wouldn't be who I am today without all of the hell that I've gone through. And, I just remember, this spirit of poverty, this seed of poverty continuing to stay on my life, after that business failed, and, going from job to job, trying to determine, what is it I want to do? What is it my life is about? And because when that business failed, it robbed my identity. I had my identity in this business. It wasn't rooted in anything, solid. I think a lot of people have an identity problem. I think a lot of people, place their identity in something very shaky, something very wobbly. For a while I had my identity in my physique, my identity, who I was as a human being, my worth, my self-worth. That's your identity. Your identity is your self-worth. What holds your self-worth in its hand? My self-worth was held at one point in a business. And when that business collapsed, my identity was it completely shattered. At a later date, I had my identity in my physique, in my health, right? And I remember getting injured, and I couldn't work out for how many months, and I saw my body melt away, and my muscle just deteriorate because I had to go through rehab and I couldn't work out. And again, my ego, my confidence, my identity was crumbling, right? And it wasn't until, and I'm not here to preach, but it wasn't until I actually aligned my identity with the kingdom of heaven, and aligned my identity with, not something trendy, but something timeless, with God and with Jesus. That's when, no matter the hell that I go through in my life, my identity is solid. Who I am, what I carry, my capacity, everything about who I am stays solid and true. But so anyways, though, I remember I moved out after that all happened. I ended up moving to California, and I experienced, go figure, more hell in my life. I lived out of my car for about a year, and I have pictures of it. I can't wait. I visualize the day standing on stage in front of thousands of people, and watching my team stand on stage in front of thousands of people. I visualize the success. I visualize it happening, and I can see myself sharing, some of these struggles with people from stage, and it makes me emotional to think about because I know that there's been so many times that people have heard me speak, and they've come up to me in the end and they're like, man, thank you so much for sharing that. And in the back of my mind, I was totally broke, so broke, couldn't afford, a McChicken from McDonald's, and the spirit of poverty has continued to stay on my life for so long, where, when I was living in my car, just eating granola bars and bagels, that's what I was surviving off of. I remember a treat to me, if I was doing something good, a treat to me is I would go to Albertsons in Orange County, Huntington Beach, by the LA Fitness over there, and I would get a cheddar bagel with jalapenos on it, like 75 cents, and a coffee Bolt House Farms protein drink. It was $3 or something like that, and that was the gift to myself. And I learned to take joy and find joy in the little things, and even as soon as last year, I was living with my girlfriend, and it just continued to face challenge after challenge after challenge, spiritually, financially, a lot of different ways as I'm building my dream. I'm sharing this with you guys because you need to understand that as you're building your dream and you're actually working towards something that you find valuable and your destiny and your call is on it, you're gonna go through hell. You have to. Because the hell that you overcome will be the treasure you're able to deposit on the inside of other people. And I remember there were times where my girlfriend's so amazing. I remember there were times that I couldn't even, it's hard to say this, but I couldn't even pay my rent. And my girlfriend stepped in. And, the shame in that. And, say you tell the person that you love that you're going to provide everything for them, that you're their knight in shining armor, that you're the king, that you're the king, and you can provide, and you paint this picture of what life is going to be, but it isn't always that way. You have to build up to that, and to have somebody who believes in you so much is just so amazing. The right woman in your life is so crucial, I found. But I remember her paying the rent and never complaining about it. She'd want to go on dates, and she'd take me on dates, and she, and pay for everything. And she said, "Danny, I don't care about the money. I just want to be with you. I just love you." It's amazing to have people like that in your life. But all these different challenges, and man, there are so many. I could sit on here for another hour and share some of these, and maybe I will another time. But these are two of the biggest challenges that I've dealt with. And when you have a seed of poverty in your life, I'll end with this: is one of the things that I still deal with also every single day is like worry and anxiety and things like that. Of is it really possible? Am I really going to be successful? Am I really going to be a multimillionaire? Am I really going to influence nations? Am I really going to change generations? I've had this stuff spoken over me by so many people who are so successful, and they're not saying it as lip service. A lot of these people don't have any benefit from me at all. But people can see the destiny in your eyes. They can see the life they can see the call on your life, and the life on your heart, and the power and the authority on your words. And if somebody prophetically speaks over you and says, "Hey, you were created to influence generations," it's powerful, right? The seed of belief, the seed of vision in your life can carry you through the darkest of times, right? And I just encourage you, if you're going through